All right, we're back here then continuing our discussion with hyperactivity. Some of those food additives that we talked about, artificial colors, sodium benzoate, that may exacerbate the behavior. And sodium benzoate is a food additive that we use in acidic food items like salad dressings, carbonated drinks, jams, fruit juice, pickles. So those may aggravate the hyperactivity. But behavioral causes of this that we might want to talk with the parents about are getting adequate sleep, staying off electronics for excessive amounts of time, overstimulation, and excessive caffeine avoidance. The next category that we'll talk about within childhood is childhood obesity. How are overweight and obesity defined in children and adolescents? You're going to go back then to the growth charts. And we had been working with the growth charts for the infants. And now we're going to move into the growth charts where you see BMI ages 2 through 20 on the top of the growth chart. Okay. And we aren't going to figure out BMI the same way for children as we do for adults. Remember, with adults, it's weight in kilograms over height in meters squared. We still need to do that math, but then we're going to take that number and plot it on the BMI growth chart. Okay, so our BMI for kids is always going to be determined or reflected in a percentile. Okay, so a normal BMI for children is a BMI between 5 and 85 percentile. Okay, under 5%, that's going to be our underweight. Okay, and then 85 to 95% is going to be our overweight, and 95 and up is going to be our obese category. Okay, so again, you will need this information for your math packet and for an exam. To figure out BMI for kids, you're going to do the math the same way, weight in kilograms over height in meters squared, but then you take that number and plot it with their age on that growth chart to get the percentile. Okay, and on Blackboard, under the PowerPoints, I have that breakdown that I just gave you. The 5 to 85% is normal, the 85 to 95% overweight, and then 95% and up is obese. So some characteristic physical traits that we'll see in obese children, early puberty, stockier appearance, and then we might see some of those non-physical signs, that biochemical data, high blood pressure, high blood lipids, increased blood glucose, and really we're trying to prevent this from happening in an effort to decrease the risk of becoming obese adults. Okay. And we also need to hit on the psychological development of children who are overweight or obese. They have emotional, social problems, discrimination, poor self-image, negative stereotypes. You all know we've talked about kids before and how they can be very mean. So, trying to promote a positive atmosphere will be important. Prevention and treatment of obesity. It says here prevention begins at birth, but remember when I get on my pregnancy kicks, I think about really building that nutrition palette for that child, even in utero. So, what the child is being fed via breast milk, what foods are introduced, and when. As educators of these parents, we have a lot of information that we can give them to promote nutrition throughout the life cycle. And if we start at birth or even in pregnancy, we can decrease the risk for these conditions. So you have in table 1111 eating and physical activity behaviors to prevent obesity. Treatment, if you do work with a family that has an overweight or an obese child, we want to integrate healthy nutrition, physical activity, psychological support, and behavioral changes. For diet, the overall goal is just to maintain weight during growth so the BMI falls. We don't want to encourage a child to go on a diet to lose weight, especially when they're going through that growth spurt. So really, we want families to work on entire